Hello and welcome to another episode of Gardenside Chats. I'm Billy Polanski, and today we are going to learn and demonstrate how to make a tomato bucket garden. This is a really easy way to grow tomatoes at your house. You don't have to have space in your yard really, and it's portable. It's really great and easy, and if you're a beginner, it's a good way to get into gardening. So the ingredients, the supplies you'll need, not a cooking show, supplies you'll need is a 5-gallon bucket, tomato plant, you'll need some potting mix, and you will need a drill. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to drill holes in the bottom of this bucket for drainage. We're going to fill it with the potting mix. We're going to plant a tomato in it. We're going to stake it, give it something to grow on, to support it, and then we're going to water it and put it out in the sun. Well, there's no sun today. We'll put it in the sun tomorrow maybe. So, first thing is we'll take our 5-gallon bucket. This can be an old one that you had laying around the house. You can go purchase one. They're about $3 at your local hardware store. We typically do is we're going to put 8 holes in the bottom of this. And we'll just go around in a circle. So, we're going to there's some little pieces of plastic came when we drilled it. So now, can you see the holes? All right. So we've got our holes in there. Now, you really need to put the holes in. This is not a step that you can miss because if you water, or if it sits out in the rain and gets filled up with water, your tomato plant is not going to be happy just swimming around like that. So the holes are really important. So now we're going to put this, we're going to put the potting mix in the bucket. So we have purchased some bulk potting mix here because we've been making so many of these bucket gardens. But you can get bag potting mix at your local hardware store. There's a lot in sort of the bag dirt department, there's a lot of different items you can purchase. There's there's compost, and there's mulch, there's peat moss, there's topsoil, and you want to make sure that you get a potting soil or a potting mix, because that, and a lot of these products even say that they're for container gardens. So you want to make sure that that's what you get, is a potting mix or a potting soil, because it is that is going to be what your plant grows the best in. This is obviously, we're trying to mimic nature here, and so by just adding compost or just adding topsoil, it's not going to have it's not in the ground, and so it doesn't have everything that plants are going to need like an in-ground garden. So so we've got our potting mix here. It's filled up almost all the way to the top. Can we see that? So there's maybe like an inch of room at the top. We are going to pull out tomato plant to put in here. When you pull the plant out of your whether it's a 4-pack or a 1-pack or a 6-pack, when you pull it out of the plastic, you want to kind of squeeze the bottom like that to loosen it up. You can turn it upside down and then the plant comes out. We want to make sure. All right. So we've got the plant here. We can squeeze the roots here a little bit, loosen it up. I'll get those roots ready to grow into the potting mix we put in here. Something else we'll do is, if there's any lower leaves, you want to plant about half of the height of this stem. So I'm going to pull this lower one off right here. You see this one right here? It's got like a little ugly leaf. I'm just going to pinch that off because it doesn't look good. Take that away. But inside of the pot here, I'm going to dig a hole. Can you come over here? I'm going to dig a hole in the middle so that we can get a big chunk of this plant in. So you can see that a big chunk of that plant is buried. And along the stem, there's those little hairs, and those little hairs will turn into roots if we bury them. So we've got that in there. We're gonna push the potting mix in. We're gonna just kind of pat it in there. Make sure that those roots have good contact with the soil, the potting mix rather, and there we go. Something that you will want to do is stake it up. So you can get something like a tomato cage. You can get a stick. So like this U-post is nice. This piece of bamboo is probably not quite strong enough, but find some kind of stake or cage to put in your tomato plant. And if it's a stake, I would put it on the edge because you don't want to disrupt those roots that you just put in there. This is good. This is maybe a little too short, but it'll work. If you have a cage type of thing, the tomato will sort of grow inside of it, and so those are nice because you don't really have to tie them up. They just kind of live inside of that cage. If you do that, you can buy one of like the pre-made cages. I find that those are typically too small. You can sort of make your own if you have a piece of fencing that you cut into whatever the circumference of the bucket is, and then sort of make a circle cage. Make sure whatever fencing you use that the holes are big enough to get your hand through to harvest the tomatoes. In a stake type situation like this, you're going to have to tie the plant up to the stake to hold it up. So if you have little pieces of twine or string, as your tomato plant grows, you'll just want to tie it off to the stake, and then you will have your bucket garden. So to take care of this, you're going to need to water it every day. So you want to water it until it starts coming out of the bottom. So we've got these holes in the bottom. If you've got this set on your patio or in your yard, a patio would be better. But if you've got it set there, water it, and when you start seeing the water come out of the bottom, that's when you know that it's good. And you pretty much want to do it every day because the ability of this bucket to stay moist is less than the ground. Because it's above ground and because there's less soil or potting mix in here than there is dirt in the ground. It's just going to dry out quicker than the ground is. So you need to water it every day. So that means you probably want to put it somewhere where you're going to see it every day, maybe by your front door or by a space you walk past every day next to your driveway. Put it somewhere you're going to see it so that you remember to water it. So you'll be watering it every day and put it in full sun. So it's going to need to be somewhere where there's at least 8 hours of sun every day. And if you're lucky, you'll have tomatoes by 4th of July. You can have some for your 4th of July barbecue. But it's been kind of chilly out, so I don't know, no guarantees on that. But in a couple of months, you should have some nice tomatoes start to come in. So that is all we have for today. We've made a tomato bucket garden, and we will see you on Wednesday with another episode of Gardenside Chats. I can't, what? Huh?
Giveaway.
Oh. So on Friday at noon at the Columbia Housing Authority's Blind Boon Center, we're going to be giving away some of these tomato bucket gardens at the Moving Ahead program when they give away some of their meals. So if you want to come pick one of these up, you can come over to Blind Boon Center on Providence at between noon and 3 or noon and 2 sometime on Friday. Come at noon, and we'll be giving some of these away. Or now that you know how to make it, you can make one of these at home also. So thank you for tuning in. Remember to like, plant, and subscribe, and we will see you next time.